Good morning. So we begin by setting our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the purest state of enlightenment in order to benefit all living beings, knowing that to perfect that state we must perfect all the trainings on the bodhisattva path itself. And to perfect the bodhisattva trainings we must be able to gain a thorough understanding of them based on a non-mistaken presentation, a non-mistaken text. And so it is with this in mind that we are here this morning to listen to a teaching from the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings. Gyatang Somju Suptum. So Gila Jump.
116. 116.
Gila Gena de la Machene Trembasam Sol. Georgia Deda Machene Trembasam Sol.
What the other Martian did something is what they're set up, and yet Yodela, and Casa de Samotaju, Jizu Jambe Yangdang, and Casa de Jizu Jambo Combo, Zochene, and data, and Yamichila Cuba, the Samotu, Dawiba Laman, and call you at much. Jambe Yala, the Combo Tutan, Luga Iron Dewa, and the Tower Taba, Sanjay Jana Sobe, and the Casa de Samotawi Lamati, and Jizu Jambo Combola, Takaja, Papa Tomata, and Lobby Inila Sobe, and Casa de Tachi Lamati. 이 샴들다 간제제 가담게 가담 람리고 shum바바 맹아바 라마데 코 이 샴들은 정글라마 좀거 집에 기바디게 거 같지 어떻게 아니 랑게 뭐다 라마샤자 생게 뒤엔들라 아니 랑게 추정모도 라마라 그래서 추정 모도 자외 라마라 추정 모도 라마서 거리와 뒤와데 다 같이 주디시 하조다 아니 계산 사제동 아니 저게 어느 가서 내외스 진짜라서 자주 쓰면서 하란데다 And
as usual, we begin by setting up the visualization of the merit field in front of us, starting with and being the centermost figure in that merit field, the one who is greatly compassionate and skillful in means, the Guru Manindra Vajradhara. And that again, through the different lineages then from the left and right of the central figure, being the figure of Maitreya, being at the head of the extensive practices lineage, accompanied in that lineage by the likes of Arya Asanga, Vasubandhu, etc. And then on the other side, the figure of Manjushri at the head of the profound view lineage, including such notable figures as Arya Nagarjuna and Chandakirti and so on. And then to the behind and above the central figure, the lineage of the consecrated practices, at the head of which sits Vajradhara. And then on the left and right again, below those two previously mentioned lineages of the extensive practices and profound view, you have the representations of the Kadampa lineage, the three different schools of the Kadampa lineage. They are represented in three separate groups. And below them again you have the grouping of the Geluk lineage lamas, at the center of which is Lama Tsongkhapa. Again, continuing the visualization to the at the very front of the central figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara, just below that throne is the grouping of our own teachers, those from whom we have received teachings directly. And at the center of that grouping is our own root guru. And then around those, that grouping, and just below them, will include all of the different deities of the four tantric sets. They are represented there. Below them, the Buddhas, including the Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, etc. Then the hearers, then the great bodhisattvas represented, then the hearers and solitary realizers, then the arhats, and the different dakas and dakinis, and then finally the protectors at the bottom. So we have this, at the conclusion of our visualization, we have the understanding of all figures are included within that merit field without any exception.
Tendek sochen dedageta jowon tamba tuga hon sin wotre seta tuga hon le wese padu meba trene ani singram chan le chebe ani ishiba ngos chen tan ani be ishiba deda tamje ani sochen rede le be chasa wa tim so sin wotre kongba she.
And then we see that all of the figures in the merit field are marked with the three syllables, with the om at the crown, at the throat, and hum at the heart. And from the hum syllable at the heart, light rays emanate, and then they go out into the pure realms and invite all of the wisdom beings. And these wisdom beings come forth and dissolve into each member of the merit field. Now we turn our attention to the visualization around us, and we visualize all mother sentient beings all around us again without exception. And that though all of these sentient beings are included within the six different realms of existence, but they are cognizant of the suffering that they're experiencing there, as if they had a human level of understanding, and so they also include, they are having a sense of confidence and faith when regarding the figures of the merit field, and just like us, that we also have that sense of faith and trust in the merit field, including pure faith, the faith of conviction, and the faith that is the manifest faith included in there in our viewing of the merit field with that sense of faith, and then simultaneously regarding all the figures surrounding us, all the mother sentient beings in the different realms of existence with a sense of compassion. And then we make the offering of the 7-limbed prayer and practice along with the mandala offering to the merit field.
야야야제 미가 추종 숨마지 디가야 찔라 찔템제 야야야템네 랑게 티제 자외 라마 초롱도 라마 수권이고 어다 디게를 파티 아니 파족에 가서데 예윤게 아니 가서데 지주장 가서데 장물로 종갑에 주버주버지 되게 찔라 찔된 거 야테네 아니 가단 거 주버서 가단 거 주버 찔 찔도 야테네 아니 자진자주도 삼았다주 주버는 때문에 아니 디가 야테 참 자연일 파팀전 어떻게 아니 냠을 질라 주버 라마 디가 찔라 찔템지 야테네 아니 이게 저도 장패다 다 라마가들 미네 어제 도스 공부시 어떻게
And then we begin the dissolution of the merit field again, starting with the figures at the very lowest level in our view, the Dharma protectors, and they begin the process of dissolving into the layers or rows of the figures above them. So they will dissolve into the Dakas and Dakinis, who in turn will dissolve into the Arhats, into the solitary realizers and the hearers, and so on, until all those figures dissolve into, including all of the tantric deities and all of our own teachers, into the single figure of our own root guru, and that remains like that. And then we concentrate on the right and the left. And we again, our knowledge, become aware of the figures all within the Geluk grouping, with Lama Tsongkhapa at the center, that they all dissolve into the different Kadampa schools groupings, and they in turn dissolve into the grouping of the Lamas of the extensive practices lineage and the profound view lineage, and they finally dissolve into the heads of those two lineages, being Lord Maitreya and Lord Manjushri. And then we concentrate just behind the central figure on the grouping known as the consecrated practices lineage, and they dissolve upwards, starting from the below and end up with the single figure at the head of that lineage, being Vajradhara. So now we should be left with 5 figures, being the central figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara, our own root guru, Lord Manjushri, Lord Maitreya, and Vajradhara. And then those figures then dissolve in turn into the central figure, starting with Vajradhara, dissolving in through the crown of the central figure, then Manjushri and Maitreya simultaneously coming in to the center and dissolving into the central figure, and finally our own root guru coming up to the heart level and dissolving into the heart center of the central figure.
다들 어떤 거다 라마샤자 생기 어떤 소신가 라마샤자 생기를 봐 주에대 라마샤자 생기를 봐 뒤에대 라마샤자 생기를 봐 팀네 어떤 거지 라마샤자 생 소신 삼제 소비신 대다 탐제 아니 바다니도 때 어떤 데 아니 라마샤자 생기 두가 다가자제 라마샤자 생기 때 두가는 도자 때 두가 땡에서 sabbache 어떤 데 고마시 아니 데라 다가제제 야나도 멘데다 잡아 다가니제도 소 푸주트는 고지다니 라마라 통한도지 찾아서 드레주고도 라마라 통한도지 찾아서 대전로고도 라마라 통한도지 찾아서 담조고도 라마라 통한도지 찾아서 긴도고도 라마라 통한도 칸도고도 라마라 통한도 주종고도 라마라 통한도지 찾아서 잠내고도 라마라 통한도지 찾아서 어느 소 푸주스테 어디는
And so now we bring our attention to the last remaining figure, the main figure in the merit field, who is both from whom all of the other elements of the merit field have emanated, and now it is into whom all of the other elements of the merit field have dissolved. And so we make have an awareness of the figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara as the embodiment of all enlightenment and all enlightened beings, and we make a supplication, make our offering of the 7 limb prayers, offering a mandala, and as well as offering the what's known as the stake-like supplication from the miraculous book of the Gelugpas, which goes, "My most divine Guru, Lord of the four Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of unimpeded Dharmakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of blissful Sambhogakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, Lord of sundry Nirmanakayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Gurus, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all deities, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Dharma, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Sangha, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Dakas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Dharmapalas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. And my divine Guru, embodiment of all refuge, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara.
What is that? And a rangi to all a Bema than your mother David de Comashe, and a deg rota, Juna, Nianjung Samuchi, sometime, and a calling never Juna, Nianjung Samuchi, the day Simte, and a Bema, Jirokuso, some such a ritual. And Casoda was a Casoda, the dig to not the Kawato Sechin. Never took a Jung Jen and did it have a Tabaton to Nigga, Tamdich, but to Nigga, Nanga, Second Kawato, Jevachin, and the money but I got Sim Shan. And then they give some lot de, Semti, and you make you watch the Juso some such. And it ran to what Tabatona Hansaim, Ranch of my Sim, Tamding down to Motor, Tigamoto, some Sim Tamding down to what some Sim Kayon, some Lotan, and then there's Semti. And David watch like you saw some subject. And then by the seven Lama Bush David, you open the condition, goes on to you want to settle Sunday and Tabacas of Pen, Nibacas of Shoes, Subac of the Tension, Sanjay Komamato, but that's just so and go
And so then we prepare to invite that figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara to our own crown. So we begin the process by preparing a lotus, moon and sun disk mandala seat at our crown, and beginning with the lotus seat, and by reflecting on the topic of renunciation and wishing to really remove ourselves from the suffering of cyclic existence and attain that liberation from the cyclic existence. We have this sense of definite emergence or renunciation, and from that thought arises the symbolic representation of that being the lotus mandala seat. And that's followed by really reflecting on the I that we want to emerge, to definitely emerge from cyclic existence, and that really engage in a very pervasive analysis of that I, and reaching a point of the definite lack of inherent or objective existence of such an entity, that we give rise to that which represents the emptiness of there being any objective existence of a self, and that is the sun disk mandala. And then realizing that to have that aspiration to attain liberation from cyclic existence for just myself alone is not really sufficient. That because all other sentient beings are in the same boat, and therefore I must dedicate myself to do whatever I can to liberate all other mother sentient beings as well, and that means to attain the state of enlightenment in order to be of most efficient benefit to them. And that of course gives rise to the moon disk mandala, which is representative of the mind of enlightenment, or bodhicitta. And so having developed that seat of the lotus, sun and moon disk mandala on our crown, we recite the invocation or invitation prayer to our the Guru Maninja Vajradhara, our glorious and precious root Guru. Come take your lotus, sun and moon disk seat placed here at my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness, bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And this is recited thrice, with the first, the figure sends forth a replica which begins the journey, with the second, that figure comes to rest on our crown, and with the third recitation of that verse we have the certainty that Guru Maninja Vajradhara will now remain with us on our crown until we attain the state of enlightenment. And this is something that we feel very much joyful about.
야보들이 대장을 펴먹 받잖아. 다 같이 펜토면 다 자주가서 무엇을 그렇게 받쳐고도 아니 자주가서 무엇을 개발라 아니 귤을랍고 그래. 귤을랍도 있더라. 아니 다시 냠제고는 계수시다. 귤레명가 두고는 계수니 용되게 다 되니 건데 개발이나야. 따뇽스는 야바도 공간 사줘라. 따뇽 매서는 아니 차단 걸로 개원도 아니 개마도 왜 강한데 저도 아니 따뇽 거데 가서 또 뒤서 쫓아봐라. 어떤데?
So that we are discussing the stage of the path, of the graduated path, relative to the what's known as the being of greater capacity. And the main prerogative of that being is to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. And we have understood that just to have that aspiration, to make that prayer, may I be able to attain enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings, is not enough. That we actually, if we're serious about it, we have to identify the causes necessary to generate, in order to generate that particular mindset. And so we have discovered that there are two main sets of instructions for the generation of the mind of enlightenment, being the set known as the 7 cause and effect instruction, and the set of instructions known as the equalizing and exchange of self and others. We've also covered what's known as the prerequisite to either one of those sets of instructions, being the development of the mind of equanimity as like a smooth ground on which then these other minds can be generated or cultivated. And so within the first of these sets of instructions, the 7 cause and effect instruction, we have looked at the very first of those causes, that being looking at seeing all sentient beings as having acted as one's mother. And the second of these causes is then recalling the kindness of that mother.
되게 야고 좋아나 아니 영웅이 잡았지만 영웅이 잡을 사도 제사도 아니 들라 펜바트를 강해요 말해 강해도 영웅이 잡을 사도 아니 펜바트를 강해 매버다 아니 들라 동네 주는 미소 받게 아니 대화된도 또 닝제스가 동네를 미소 받들 닝제스가 잡았어도 대화될 때도 그 잡았죠 아니 딩에 두기 있었다 학습 용도다 학습 될 때는 아니 자주가 셉티용 구요 받다 다 가서 학생 될 때는 다 된대게 가서 동네 탐자 대화 탐자들 전부터 건지고 그것도 제일 때는 누가도 술도 때하고도 아니 저게 탑절라 두제시 못 때면 산재에 고마 동네들 두고 선사 들려도 아니 신에 습자탐도 상에 고마 또 니도 용거와 어떻게
So the 7 cause and effect instruction, the details or the outline of it is that we generate 6 causes in order to bring forth 1 effect. And the 6 causes are initially to see all sentient beings as one's mother, The second then is to recall the kindness of the mother. The third is to generate that wish to repay the kindness. And the fourth is that from those initial three causes that arises this affectionate love. And that within that affectionate love, we will have no problem then trying to of bringing benefit to others. It will arise a great deal more spontaneously. And then following that concern for other sentient beings from affectionate love, we develop the mind which finds that their suffering unbearable. And that, of course, is the mind of compassion, which is the fifth of these causes. And then that brings forth the special intention. That means that we reach a conclusion that we ourselves, or I myself, must take responsibility for really liberating all other sentient beings. For, on the one hand, providing them with every happiness, which is the prerogative of love, and then of relieving them of all suffering, which is the prerogative of compassion. And so with those 6 causes in place, then one can practice to generate that one effect of the mind of enlightenment itself, the mind of being able to attain the state of enlightenment in order to be a benefit of all sentient beings, because one has the profound understanding that it is only that from that position of enlightenment, with that sense of compassion, non-discrimination and skillful means, that one is really best able to benefit all sentient beings without exception. And therefore that's why this goal of enlightenment is followed.
다 근데 이제 당부 산계 생각이 야고 한 먹어봐이나 산계 돈돈이 삼도 연구 말아 봐. 산계 생각 뭐 주고 요래. 산계 생각은 교육고세 현대 군대. 그다 산계스. 상화서 교육 차담제 상화. 계서 현대의 차담제 개변은 산계스.
So that's and therefore at the outset, prior to any of this, it's really quite important to have a very clear understanding of what the enlightenment is, or what a Buddha is, and that if you look at the wording from the Tibetan of Sangye, is the word used to describe that sense of that what is a Buddha or enlightenment. And that is the 2 syllables of sang, which is has the connotation of purity, of purification. That means that all faults have been purified completely. And the second syllable of ge has the sense of generation or arisen. And that refers to the fact that all good qualities have arisen, have been cultivated to their perfection. And so that's what a Buddha means, one who has eliminated all faults completely and has perfected all good qualities to their utmost.
다 되지도 거기 셰베가 조단데 야고 신고해지래. 셰바가 조단한데 다들 그 셰베 연대지로 와. 로아 셰베 연대지, 셰바가 연대지로 와.
And then to have an understanding of consciousness itself and the qualities of consciousness.
셰베가 연대지로. 다 되네 인자 나라도 선전 강가에 줄라 산제가 릭스가 요. 다 릭스에 마세기 개바지 용대가 요마다 선전 강가에 줄라 산제가 릭스가 요버래.
Because of the fact that all sentient beings have a consciousness, it means also that all sentient beings are endowed with what is known as Buddha potential, and that it's the only difference is whether that Buddha potential has been awakened and cultivated or not.
다가니시 심쟁가가 산제가 뒤자야 차대요. 뒤자. 산제가 뒤에 뒤자. 뒤자와 산제가 심쟁가가 다 공무의 뒤자 이마데 개발 열봐. 뒤자하고 뒤자서는 산제가 뒤에게 다 매번 산제가 그다 편도 제사기 유. 심쟁이나 산제가 편도 제사기 유. 뒤자 산제가 다 뒤자 먹고 뒤에 편도 지기로 왔다. 진짜 산재가 두자 차대요래. 다 공어가 두자 이만에 산재 무엇을 남바 때문에 두다 맞도록 거 내줄로 가봐. 간사 코나라 제 레다 뭐는 거 제가 수지 걸어봐. 얘나야 샘제 얘나 산재가 두자 임백 잡래. 두자 싱거베. 두자 선다 로마스고야 갈수라 두자. 봐. 샘제 얘나 산재가 두자 임백 잡래. 이나 공어가 두자 이만에 거 내줄로 가봐. 그러다 산재가 두에게 산재가 편바 주사 유. 그러봐.
So it's also apparent that there is the disciples, right? Those to whom how do you say the word is like those to be subdued is the literal translation. That they are present because sentient beings are present. Because there are sentient beings, there are those that can be helped, that can be subdued, that require the assistance of an enlightened being like a Buddha. Now, whether they, from their side, have that motivation is the key issue, isn't it? Because from the Buddhist point of view, they are designed as an enlightened being only to bring benefit and to bring benefit without any discrimination whatsoever. And so that is the case. So therefore there is cause for the state of enlightenment.
고도인의 팬도 바시면도 제tuk으로 와다. 감도 몇번 나서 다 이제 감도 몇번 나서 봐지 여봐 인자 네 차자냐 마도 와이나 아니 지금 뒤 많이 받던들 팬도 잖아 팬별처럼 뇌대 들용 그러 와다. 그러 와더는 일단 산제 고마 두고 좀 생각해서나 아니 지금 뒤제 감도 몇번 나서 봐지 여봐 인자 나는 감도 몇번도 tumbe 팬도 제tuk고 여러 봐. 제tuk고 요 왔다 좀 제티래 와더는
And so also, like from the point of an enlightened being, a Buddha has this omniscient knowledge of those to be subdued, knowing their dispositions, their personalities, their habits, the karmic configurations of where they're at, karmically speaking, etc. And so has all the necessary essential information in order to be able to benefit perfectly. And that's sort of the spontaneous and automatic feature of an enlightened being. This is very, very important because though being a person may have the positive motivation to be of benefit to all, but without that essential information, though they may benefit, or try to benefit, that benefit can even turn into harm sometimes. So it's very important to have this necessary omniscient understanding of the different dispositions, personalities and characteristics of those they are wanting to help.
당어서 펜바스는 단다 대 펜바스인데 지담에 미교보이나 칼라테다 대사테다 아니 저 가서도 튕겨자에도 펜바지를 와. 이나 단다들 펜바 쪼데 가르스나 동 코아드 동행을 하시네. 딜레 타베 타바던도니. 딜레 아니 딜레 타와자마자 아니 타입에 맞게 심지 탐질 펜토 투에게 탐지 겸바 줍투에. 어다 된데 지금 쪼샤고 요래.
So when we talk about benefit in this sense, what is the benefit that is granted by an enlightened being? That of course, when we think of the normal understanding of benefit, it might be to relieve the poverty-stricken, or to give food or a place to stay for those who are homeless, etc. And yes, of course, that's part of it. But the main concern for an enlightened being and the main thrust of benefit for an enlightened being is to initially to relieve all sentient beings from the suffering of cyclic existence and lead them to the state of liberation. But not only that, it's not just to pause at that state of liberation, but to actually reach the point of the omniscient state of enlightenment. And so this is the main body of benefit that is given by an enlightened being.
어디 따오르마다 근데 좀 마다는 상계 좀 되게 아니 펜토고 문도서도 나와 차스기로 와 상계 좀 되게 자르디 요 말에
So it's good that it is like that, because otherwise, we might think about, what benefit has the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha done, because there are no kind of Shakyamuni Buddha charities in extant at the moment helping people with poverty and so on.
나라서 펜토스도 루아페나 지금 캡조발로 로바치에서 워도 냠탈로 로바치 된대지면도 펜토스가 통문면 도와. 나 펜토스 대다 탐제 강내 제 쪼어데 가르서 단지 머리 빨아 연구 요래. 대다 탐제 가르서 코아 임베서 연구 요래. 코에 자와 단지 머리 봐. 뒤니뭐 다음에 또 베셔럽 콩쿠레스. 아니 대자 마서 타입에 맞게 심지 단지 펜토 마주 가자 란체제 빠네 센첸제 제고르스. 와다 된데게 라면다는 다바 때도 되게 주의게다. 저 펜토 지다서 와다 되고 다도 고서 줘 되고 그러와. 되면도 신 펜토 장가 중에 제발하다. 직den게 펜토 제발 인지미가 상계고 좀 세요 말봐.
And so, yes, this moves beyond the simple sense of the mundane sense of benefiting those in a kind of worldly strife, as it were, and offering protection to beings, of course, as well, protections from harm. But mainly, what the Buddha's prerogative or goal is to really reveal to us that our main problem in cyclic existence is this, or the root cause of our cyclic existence is the grasping onto this entity of self, and that presenting the direct antidote to that in the form of the wisdom of selflessness, and that furthermore, in terms of our behavior, we have to take into consideration the aspirations of all mother sentient beings to cherish others by overcoming this very debilitating mindset of self-cherishing that we have ourselves, and that in order to present people with a sense of definite and ultimate happiness, we need to follow these two paths of the correct view of the selflessness of the self-entity and the mind which cherishes others, overcoming our self-cherishing attitude. And this is the main goal of the path laid out by the Buddha. And that, this is not to denigrate any worldly benefits that might be happening, but also saying that these temporary worldly benefits are not in any way going to help, or in any way to kind of like get to the heart of the problems of cyclic existence and found the main causes for enlightenment.
못되지. 딱 알아서 내 당고하게 아니 되게 내수 찾아 심받잖아. 아니 알아주겠다. 제토한테 가르여서나 제토한테 내가 편도 제토에 되고 니한테 또수 열어 봐. 안데 꾸노 되게 돼. 아니 심지 탐지고 산제 고마토베 체도 아니 돼. 아니 내가 편받게 돼. 둑투와이나 산제 규둑으로 하다 겹사로 와.
And so we have to at the same time look at where we're at and what we are capable of doing now as beginners. And so it is very much in that sort of area of being able to provide these worldly ordinary kind of benefits of helping the poor, relieving homelessness, providing food for those who are hungry, etc., etc., offering protection for beings and so on. And that's what we can do, and that's what we should do. What we can do in order to make that to make sure that while we are doing these actions, that they are become the causes for enlightenment, is to make sure that we have the bodhicitta motivation accompanying those actions, so that we are doing something seemingly straightforward, but in our own motivation we're saying, may all sentient beings attain the state of enlightenment. I'm doing this in order that all sentient beings may attain that state of enlightenment. And so we are laying down the causes for the attainment of enlightenment while we're doing these actions.
소소게 저로 와지다 파마이나 빙자이나 조고 조모이만 워심바이나 다가니 저 소소게 나라냐베겐 키데 시미타월 카리임바네 진짜 마긴가 심제레 통하면 진짜 마겠어 다른 얘기 레기 되어 온게 다든데 얘기 틀려 요겐지 차버려 보고이나 파마이나 소소 키데 시미나 다든데 오 다들들 편도제 얘 구급제래 아니 단다 디 편도제 마음바랑에 추 편도제 또 봐지 용어 교류 교화쇼 예 다들 들려 편도 타이에 막게 심지어 탐자를 편도에 아니 교류 교화쇼스 어떻게 안 들려 때는 교득에 또 봐지 용어도 와
And so we give whatever help is necessary to the best of our ability, to the maximum of our capacity, and that's to those in our immediate circle, like our friends, our parents, our children, our pets, dogs, cats, whatever we have, and that we develop this perception of always considering all these, not just simply in terms of these mundane relationships that we have, but as kind mother sentient beings. And that's what they are. And that through the karma that we share, this has given me the opportunity now to be of a benefit. And I take this opportunity and I engage in that benefit towards them, and I make the aspirational prayer, may I be able to offer the gift of Dharma to them in the future, and may I be able to do this for all sentient beings in the future. And by doing so, we are really charging our actions with the as causes for the attainment of enlightenment itself.
다 대들 마시에 된데 주에서 다 간제제 가산 되나라 다 단념제는 마시에 되는 조차도 왔다 심지어 탐제 소수 다 가서도 다 같이 가서도 가서 맞제용하지 왔다 되는데 다 같이 다 되게 돼 그가 체직이 깨져 셔나 다 조사처럼 다 지금 개왕한 지식이 가서 시베 토네는 조거지 개왕한지다 다 가서 봐서 다 개왕한지 저 여와 임바이나 다 간자제 가서도 다 간자제 아니 개와들 아니 개네 시용고 요래 다 가게도 공견일 패제 마요고 요래 아니 근데 임바이자 다 코알아 토마메바인데 마차 찍니기 전에 당금해 봐지 심지어 레레나 마장레다 번 세티 마다고 차샤웨네 세티 마데 개왕마데 발에 마장마고 제사와치 장마노와 제사와치 아니 심지어 레레나 마장마노 마치 데레 마자와이나 다야 코라 메티게치 와다 데레잖아 마르셰 투에치 와 마르셰 아니 마르셰는 데레 마데 아니 다 딘체 뭐 임바치 딘체에서 마르셰 딘체스
And so that in the course of the 7 cause and effect instruction, we have already covered that prerequisite mentioned of the mind of equanimity, and as well as that we have also covered the first of these causes, that is of seeing all sentient beings as one's mother. And that here it's very important to look beyond just a simple one life theory and to consider past and future lives in order to really get to the heart of this cause, and to understand that of the 4 different types of birth in cyclic existence, there we have taken birth from an egg and from a womb, and in all of those cases we have had a mother in those lives, and that in fact since beginningless time we have had countless rebirths in cyclic existence, and therefore countless mothers in that time, just to consider in the way that we have had a mother in this life, that has been repeated countless times in other lives, and to gain this very, very important first cause, we need to spend time contemplating this, and to have this understanding that all sentient beings are none other than mothers that I have had again in previous lives as well. And so following that then is the second logical cause of remembering then the kindness of those mothers.
세베체안 잠베 때나샤 소미주 zel레제 가베비기테 napkechi, mizawa labechi, ma rang sola bebe dunga jungale, da jungse nawala dunga chewar che, buku jungse dos nadiga di dunga che, di dusu sakaza bui nede rangla boya tab yoba ina, tesu mewa che pe su potuye che, rangla kasa lemba la tsamsum mea ching, anta bushi wala rangshi wa tamye. Dikdu dangye rangso kasa ta gangla ya matia basa cha tangbang tu chubya senor tamche dala tsewa po, tsewa che, teya kasa bu po ta pomo, zongba ham bu tse chewe sa, shedun soje, chedo ranje, nga samani tumene taka cheche changsa chewe la bu na, kasa bu 파마바 다에 보면 남아고에서 다들 조소만 못한 거다 녀마기다 다들 가서 배나 신용을 돈에 조소만 못한 거다 소소 신용을 돈에다 보고들 럽존이 제로 신용을 돈에다 조소 강가다 아니 대사 강발 모달라서부터 가이네 다 밤에 저와전다 항상에서 나 사만이 뭐 통만이 교만이 탐제 방반매 봐 돈이 되겠지 돈은 말하기에서 가서다 결과에다 되나 소소가 다 니발라 봐봐 되면 다 같이 시부숙심을 제도 시부숙심을 주모도 용거다 이나 소소 니바 가 여바디 바 니바 되네 제도가 편바다 대화 쳔매버 좀 차티도 가서 무슨 어딨지.
So looking then at this kindness of the mothers, having recognized all sentient beings as having been our mother. And again, we bring to mind that we are engaging in this contemplation and analysis whilst we have our Guru deity on our crown. And so we reflect as follows and we say that it's not just that we have a mother in this life, but in countless lives since beginningless time, and we have had countless mothers who have taken on this role for us. And in particular, when we reflect on our mother in this life, we take into account that she carried us in her womb for 9 months, and then when we were born, we were laid on a very soft bedding and held in her 2 hands very gently and lovingly, and looked on lovingly. When we had our nose mucus wiped away with our hand, with our mouth, and our excrement wiped away with our hands, and that she had just dedicated herself so fully to us that even if she had a life-threatening suffering, she would consider any illness that we had to be even greater than that, and that and if she had the power that any discomfort we felt, she would gladly have taken it on herself, and also and then she would have even accepted death herself if she knew that it could save us. And so, in short, she did everything she possibly could for us, and that included, engaging in negativities, in suffering, having bad reputation, and even at the risk of her own life. She disregarded all of that in order to do the best she could for us. And whatever money or wealth or that she had, she dedicated it all, whether it's in order to provide us with the best possible education, or indeed in ancient times as well, to provide a good marriage dowry, or a celebration, or and any other thing that was in for our good and for in our interest. She did everything she possibly could, disregarding anything that she might need herself in terms of food or drink or clothing, and she had no regrets about this whatsoever. And in brief, our mother did the very best she could within her power and knowledge to provide us with benefit, limitlessly so. And likewise, she did the very best she could in protecting us from all harm and suffering as well.
제 야는 양도 삼을 먼저 통대도 앞에는 자지우라 소바티게다 대 공화리 땅 안데 부고를 차차도 되는 배 숨겹 전에 그런 거 소가 련 숨겹 지기도 되게 소소 아마 제가 갈 때는 제여 봐. 진짜지 제여 봐.
So these kinds of this kind of analysis is something that we should engage in again and again and again and again to really bring it home to us how important, how amazing our mothers have been to us. And also to look into nature. When you look at the behavior of birds, for example, you can see during the season when the fledglings are growing, to what extent the parents will protect those young in the nest, even to the point of putting their own lives in danger, or even dedicating their own lives in order to protect their young. And we have to consider that this is the kind of sense of intensity with which our own mothers over countless times, countless lives, have also done for us.
다 이거 먼저 피게 제대로 나와지면도 다 피게 소소야 뒤 보고 제가 뒤 되는 시점을 열어 봐. 다들 지구대에서 그 아마대에서 동안에서 소소야 뒤 보고 임백하라. 지구대 보고 임백하라. 지구대 뒤는 시점을 열어 봐. 뒤는 아니 배 부지라와는 소소 사만이 외치는 보고를 때려도. 맞아. 데리스도 하다.
So like to not just observe kind of objectively these birds and the way they protect their young, but to really put ourselves into that situation and to understand that we have had rebirths like that and being protected like that so many times. Even as a small bird just hatched from the egg with our parents out absolutely totally dedicated to our welfare, not just to the point of dedicating their own lives, but also in finding any bugs or worms, rather than eating it themselves, they immediately take it back to feed us so that we can thrive. So we have to really try and put ourselves into those kind of situations and to really feel it like that.
대다지 값으로 대다지에서 값으로 레레라 민에서 공개지 그래서 레레는 민에서 공개지 찔라비나 공개 미게나 내추바인서 그래서 찔라서 대다지 값으로 레레라 민에 공개지 찔라민에서 공개 미게나 찔라 그래서 찔라미는 공배에서 미게나 내추바에서 다 내가 주를 보다 어다 레레라 미는 공고 때나 대다게 심었다고 임배서 유rin 거를 삼바 맞제바다 돼서 유르부 고구도 삼삼마티 개체부 쓰니 아니 가서도 바 14부잖아 삼로단에 다 랑도 위니바 제도바 제티 개체부에서 저 벌써 녀와 튼튼지 봐도 고바 개체에서
So then very important points being made about how to engage in this analysis, this kind of meditation. It said that here it's very important to kind of personalize when we are reflecting on this kindness, that we are looking at particular people, particular rebirths as much as we possibly can, and to avoid just having a general sense of the kindness. Because if we just keep it as general like that, it's considered, it could be quite a big mistake, that we will kind of miss the point. And so again, because these kinds of reflections of seeing all sentient beings as one's mother and remembering this kindness, they are like the foundation, the ground on which then you develop the other causes of this instruction. It is worthwhile spending the time over them to engage in meditations on this on a long-term basis until you really get to feel some actual experience of this kind of kindness. This is very, very important.
대신도 레레나 카페노 코미케다 세티 지거서도 파 아니 되네 비비자 조보도 몰라서 와 되네 밤에 심젤미노고 대여서 취네 밤에 심젤나 돈도 세월 미네 다다 되니 가야 대화 매버 찾듯이 두자 대여서 사람 토마 매버네 다제 맞제바 달레티 달레 맞제바 제요래 만남 제베 제리게 세티에서 지다 딩게 장바 신도 다 가서 소소 많이 딩지다 장반 저거다 딩게 장바 시다 해서 대라 녀와 토바나 안에 달라미네 단다 자디 소소 너바지게 소소 통되게 열대 이날 거두이네 된다 말이야 사랑가 만나서 소소 녀도 줄 녀가 조 안에 소소 아마를 줄잖아 근데 펜바 빠도 매봐 줍대 괜찮지 뭐다도 잘해서 때 아마 제베 갈라 왔다 세디에 마이 딩게 지다 잡아다시 자디자 소소 아마 제베 갈라다 딩게 장대 봐 차대 그래서 왔다 고마시 거들 또 오들 잡
And so when we have reached that point of gaining some sense of certainty, of feeling the actual experience of a mother's kindness, then when that arises quite distinctly for us, then we can shift our focus to the Father and the Father's kindness over countless lifetimes. And with that then, when we gain that experiential feeling about the Father's kindness, and then we can apply that to others as well, our friends, our other relatives. And then we move towards those who are kind of neutral in our understanding and do the meditation in the same way. And so here we visualize somebody representative of the neutral grouping in the space in front of us and say that, well, now it seems that we have no particular connection, but this is not the case when it comes to considering countless lifetimes since beginningless time, because they have acted in the role of mother for us countless times. Not only that, but they have acted as kindly and with as much dedication in their role of mother as has our mother in this life. And so we have to consider that they have all been kind mother sentient beings to us. And again, one persists with that meditation until we get a sense of absolute clarity and conviction with regard to that. Then we can shift the person that we're visualizing in the space in front from a neutral person to one who is considered as an enemy, or that we have some sense of aversion towards, and to understand that. And though we see them as enemy now, this has not been the case in lifetime since beginningless time. And they have acted in the role of mother again for us, and have done that countless times, and that they have really benefited us in countless ways in that time, and protected us countless times from harm and suffering. So that in that context too, it's worth looking into how these different characterizations or nominations of friend, enemy and neutral appear to us even in this life, and we see how changeable they are even over the course of a lifetime. That one can be in one category at the earlier part of one's life, and in a different category completely towards the latter part of our lives. And so that there is no kind of fixed certainty about these roles, and that how even more so that's the case when you look into countless lifetimes since beginning this time.
소소 섬나 tempo 시부지 임에 나와잖아. 니지 인사도 안데 니 tempo 시부지 임에서 상황가 될시 간다서도 상황 간가 상회 계좌 간가 될시 니레스. 아니 니마지 아니 메tumba 차원도 쇼크 되기도 와. 그 가르쳐 먼저 단신 생들 와. 딱 봤을 때 단신 온게. 그러나 단신 온게 지금 왔다 가서 뭐 여기 내좀 마시면 온게 아니 교회 되게 연구도 와.
So that it's very important that we kind of expand our understanding of all others in this way to gain a sense of greater actuality of things, and that here, when it's best to have this kind of understanding of the volatility of our categorizations, and to really have it in the context of beginningless time, countless lifetimes, and so on. And this is in order to really counteract the tendency we have to dislike very quickly, to place beings into categories of attachment and aversion all the time. And this tends to solidify. We tend to solidify those who we know into those roles, so that it increases what is known as the grasping at permanence attitude, and that this is it can be very misleading and untrue, and also quite problematic for us. For example, if we really have this idea of one person being friend, so they're in that category, and we grasp onto that sense that they will always have be that person, and that and then we reveal all our secrets to them, and then shortly afterwards disharmony arises between them, and you find yourself betrayed because of the role having changed like that. And so we have to understand that these roles are temporary, that they can change, and that we need to counteract this sense of the grasping at permanence.
그래. 안다네 지금 변화 사상이나래 조보조모이나래 아니 되게 지금 그 요시우 태도도 와. 저들 다들 아니 마 되게 다까지 카가차 지도 쓰는 강내 시우종 가서 뭐 단지 온게 강내다 다 제일 강내 제대로도 와. 제대로도 와. 다들인가 지금 주함에 봤던 모습이 인생 이제디 온게 아니 강내도 제대로 열 봐. 호타텐데 말에 삼삼 주면 시부시부지 강내 태요 말와. 용거 저거 꼭 강내 시부 태요 말와. 이나 뭐 이내서 된대로 모두 와. 그 조시우 태기도 와. 조시우 태도 아니 생글 로이로 마셔지 쇼크되는 뭐 기바자 같이 생바 당담해 봐 차기도 와.
And so that's in the case of those who are close to us, the friends and so on. We have to understand that these roles can change, and that it's when we are not accepting of that, when we have not considered that at all, that then when there is a separation that follows, it causes great suffering. This suffering is due to the grasping at permanence, the permanence of relationships. And so we have to avoid this kind of a shock by holding in mind the idea that the roles that people play in our lives are changeable.
그래. 다들 저거 의욕이 내주 tema 아니 소소 쌤 예고제 동화이네 지난 쌤 지금부터 이만 쉬고 좀 쌤마도 와도 연구 말아 와. 그래서 그 지단 가서도 딱 가이나면은 그 니마지 매바 책을 삼사기 로라티 지 수첩보지 요이나 그 동화이네 지난 강에 연구를 때 얘는 대전 강에 연구 말아 와. 그것도 의욕이 내주 좀 줘야 돼. 어떻게 진짜 삼사. 다디매도 안 가시 묘조고 조서로 차은 것도 와. 그래서 그 단지 시부삼배 시그리에서는 시그리에서 얘네 가서도 다 드네 시그마리 삼서 좋아도 니마지 제제 루안도 안 소소 답에 섬지 예보지 근데 좋아도 안 섬라 강에 시고 체리도. 그래서 그 단지 온거 제대로 열어 와. 그러 딱 아이나면은 다 저 니네 답거든 가이나면은 딱 거기 요태 되지. 아니 때부 매되겠지. 로다 겨왕한 지대자 세들 차샤와는 년당 단위의 이대매 되겠지. 사람만 참아나 다 이대 자원이네 매 되겠지. 아니 단위자 년 잘려줘. 아니 가서 파 불려줘 부 팔려줘. 안 그마 가서데 다 가자죠 충마르교 다데네 니바촌이요 마 다가자 세들한테 말다 쓰랑 세 제주도 애는 되게 니바촌은 매되겠지 니바촌은 매되겠지 왔다 들으도 호텔 니바촌은 매되겠지 다 근데 지금 봐서도 되게 등가서 시에베 토네 아니 세되게 니 되게 다 되게 쓰랑만 남라 소소 니만 부채 요바다 디나는 닝가 좀 아마만 부채 바다 되는 니 아마 제발 qabla 세디 많이 딘지다 땅만이 땅 요리 삼사게네 니바테네 어디르자
So in trying to present this point of seeing the actuality of life, the actuality of relationships, the actuality of how things are so changeable, quite volatile, is only to try to mitigate the kind of sufferings we otherwise will have to experience if we grasp on to these relationships as kind of having this kind of solid sense of permanence about them. This is often, seen when somebody who we are close to dies, and that we have this unbearable sense of suffering, of loss, and it continues on. It's almost like an exaggeration, and that this is due to the fact that we really had this sense of their permanence and that relationship with us as being something permanent, and that they have been robbed and taken away, or we have been robbed, and so on. And it's simply understanding that if we have more of an understanding of the actuality of the situation, of the impermanence of life, and so on, and knowing that those who are born will inevitably die, and that goes for those who we are close to and those who we don't want to die, they will pass away as well. That it, no doubt we will suffer when they do, and that's only natural, but it won't be that exaggerated sense of great loss, that we understand that this is part of life, this is inevitable, and that in the same way we need to have an understanding of those who operate or who are designated as friend and enemy, neutral even to us in this life, that those roles are interchangeable, constantly interchangeable. We can have our own understanding of this from our own experience in this one life, but when we extend that on to countless past lives since beginningless time, it's even more the case that everybody has had every role for us, being our mother, our father, our child, and so on, countless times, and that what we are doing in this case is to concentrate on those countless times when all sentient beings have been one's mother, and in that role they have played that role with perfect kindness, and that's what's worth concentrating on in this context.
대면나 중세적 때부터 답 단다 수저 자리에서 그때 수저 많이 쏘어 제가 맞잖아 펜버 주베 칼럽에 but 추자 매번에 대마도 같은 강에 채티에 다지에서 대면나 중세적 되면 수받다 대자 다음에는 중세적 되면 수받다 그 시고적 자와치 보여드 이주부에서 장례 때 맞죠 왔다 때 차직님 뭐 장례 때 다다 내가 대답을 좋아할래 레니베 옹기도 스타단다 데데 차들 나게 레니 맞아 사베 옹기 쳐도만도 그 패모도 좀 세레면도 진짜 다 셴도나 징기 잡에 마샤다 레니 맞지 옹기다 다른 그 잔난 마카와 찬티도 당가게 레니 맞지 옹기를 샤스 셴도나 징기 잡에서 마샤다니 그 냠도는 삼로다 못들었어.
And so, with regard to the those in the role of enemy, when we think about it, that this is the since in this life this is just the case now, but they have in past lives been incredibly kind as a mother to us, protected us countless times from harm and suffering, and that in particular, there have been times in when we even consider this one person where it's like we were so essential to each other's lives that if something happened to us, to them, we wouldn't be able to live beyond that. We were so caught up in their lives. And likewise, conversely, if I was had an issue, problem, wasn't there, they also felt that they couldn't carry on. And so it's kind of like really having this depth of feeling between us at this time. This is something we must understand, and that it's only true to karma that we perceive them as enemy now in the present, and that if that wasn't the case, we would have to see them as being actually kind mother sentient beings to us. And this is something again that we have to persist with, to really spend the time reflecting and analyzing until we get to the point of an experiential understanding, some real feeling with regard to this.
다 심지어 카본에 그다가 랑이 좀바다 김세다는 랑이다 지금 나와 차에 미팅을 받아가서 손정거도 배나 지금 배나 신나다 봐 참자 전에 경고도 다 와라비다 근데 통화도 된들 봐 카본에 삼루단 이제 삼루단은 되게 돼 아니 소소 맞제마 맞장래 맞아봐 맞제베세는 되게 장다 다들 경고를 권한 부고를 그랬던 것도 진짜 정다치 어떤 소소 대 부고를 깨대고 소 삼루단 아니 진짜다 소 삼루단아 로아 삼루 건강 파고래 근데 와라비다 되게 자치우지 달라서 막 제 어다슴 제 그거 파자야도 와 어떻게잖아 아니 되게 아니 마셰투에 아니 마셰네 아니 진텐투에 어떻게 용도 거라 그래도 가봐 전에 제 요게지마도 이제 미지 대행간데 사무당 거여서는 뭐 가봐 전에 쇼핑센터 가봐 전에 지금 샘제 투데 가봐 있는 제 투에 지도 와 그래서 커피 진가 때에 사무당 대다 이제 제 마셰 텐테 연구로 와.
And so when as we talk about trying to gain some experiential understanding of this particular point of both actually seeing all sentient beings as one's mother and remembering the kindness of the mother, it's kind of important that we make it a part of our everyday thinking. It's not just reserved for a particular session of meditation or analysis, but that it's something that's brought to mind at all times, so that it moves beyond even just considering all humans in this way, but also all wild animals and any other being that we are in contact with. If we're out walking in the woods and we see kangaroo, that's our object now, to realize that kangaroo has been incredibly kind to me since beginning his time, acted in the role of mother, and then even to observe, for example, if you saw a kangaroo with a joey, to see how that mother, a kangaroo, looks after the young, looks after the joey, and to see how that's the case in all of my previous lives, that have been looked after by mothers in the same way, with such dedication and so on. And so that when we are anywhere, really, when we're going anywhere, even in the shopping centre, we're looking at the people going by to really
in
the way parents look after their children in the shopping centre, how they're looking after, caring for their children in the shopping centre, and bring that into your meditation. Even if you're sitting having a coffee, nice and relaxed, just relax and just bring to mind the notion of all sentient beings as one's mother, and that they have been incredibly kind to me since beginning this time, and just allow your mind to be infused with that thinking as much as you possibly can throughout the day.
Coffee water coffee can choose and coffee water the samatandra and the teacher marking semjer and rank mache color and the dagi and casolata, the casota, Chicaso de Pemba to any tea. So cages are and catemania. So the cages are coming to what in the cook of a junior. Tell they were juniors, what did the summertime? 다들 가서 마시에 진짜 되게 그 삼을 용해지 봐. 삼을 용해지 봐. 다 소위 바이네. 어떻게 삼다. 대 뒤지 천 돌아두고요 말이야. 뒤지 천 돌아두고요 말이야. 왔다 되게도 삼을 땅전 아까 저 마시에 진짜 진소 되게 야고 다 진짜 뭐 이마 심바이나 안에 딜라 진 소에 대 강샤요 말이야. 그래서 모두 미스는 남주죠 봐. 남주 삼무탄은 맨날 다 가래마다 삼무탄은 얘는 진 전부지 이마이나 다들 가서 진 쏘고 와.
So this goes for not just having your coffee, but the waiter who serves your coffee, the barista who makes your coffee. You're thinking about them in constantly as that kind mother sentient being. This is another example of their great kindness, and indeed, since the beginning of time and the countless lifetimes I have had, they have been in that role, providing a benefit in that way. And so you're again infusing your mind, you're cultivating this whole different notion, recalibrating your mind to really think of all sentient beings in whatever role they're in as worthy of being benefited, and this then will naturally bring forth the idea of wanting to repay that kindness, which is the third cause in this instruction. So once we really do the first two well, they kind of really allow the next cause to arise more naturally and spontaneously. So we should never think that we have any time to waste in regards to this, but to use in all of our actions throughout the day the opportunity to bring to mind the kindness of sentient beings in this way.
lonely day yung 말이야. 그래서 시계를 lonely day 어서 배부러 와.
So loneliness again is counteracted by this kind of thinking. I say that because I consider loneliness to be quite an epidemic in the West. A lot of people feel that they are lonely. So this is another counter measure to loneliness.
삼로 개마다 이제 대대 lonely yung 봐. 그 삼로 빼만 거 당지도 가. So you want somebody
So it's when you're kind of like flaked out having your coffee that you get lonely and you're not thinking about anything in particular, it's your own misery. But when you're thinking about all sentient beings as your mother, thinking about the kindness of and all the different ways that mothers have been kind since beginning this time and wishing to repay that kindness, how can you do that? Oh, that makes you very busy. No time to be lonely.
What are the Samlatani? Red Wapena Himalaya mountain developer. Some years of taking this. This was Samlotan did. Can your mother lonely your mother?
So yeah, there's no chance for loneliness in that regard. And if you think about all those great meditators high up in the mountains in the Himalayas, and are alone doing solitary retreat and meditating like this on the kindness of sentient beings, you never hear about any one of them getting lonely.
Mobile phone, your internet, your television, your
No mobile, no phone, no internet, no TV, nothing, and still no, never see anybody else.
lonely young
So even though they're all the conditions for loneliness, they never experience the loneliness because they know what they're thinking about, what they're meditating on.
Samlotan Mashi Jinja Tanaja, and the Chibola, and Lama Shaja Singer said Tamne, and it's Mashika Tobacala, Patuche, Tibatama, Lamashika Sunday, Tato Munimun Mamas, Munimun Mamas, Munimun Mamas, Munimun Mamas, so at them, and the Lama Shaja Singer Kule, said Trine. Tomama Tibata, the Kabatuya, Marsinja and the Marsha to a Tobacala, Patuche, Tibatibata, Nani, the angels of some Samlotan. And 대다 고소도게 징글람네 아니 마시가 또 봐. 안배 때보시 귤에 깨토 봐. 자고 중수 삼사 왔지. 에? 좀제 삼로다. 마이 다들 그들이야. 그래서 책도 좀제 삼로다. 아니 마제베 갈라. 야 마시네 아니 디. 야 그래서 마르체 딘데 다 딘덴발라 딘데 소소 삼로야다 김산 삼로다 세디 말잖 김산 삼로다 아니 다가네 생게 된데가 또말디 딘데가 똑바줄에 개발다 심지어 탐자 마이 딘덴발라 똑바줄에 바주 디바다 디바다 마 잡아 쇼스 다 또마다 랑이 디바다 디베 온게 지고요 안데 다 잡아 쇼스인데 소신 나로 선지제도 소신 딜레 라마 통화도 장 꿀레 리셉션에 랑이 집어는 뭐 션dü제주는 통화면 디바트도 해봐도야 아니 가서 딘덴가 똑바 개발라 아니 바주 디바다 다 진수 삼사죠 왔다 딘덴가 똑바 해봐자 라제 심지어 탐지 교래 계속 왔다 야고 중수 삼사죠 왔다죠
And in our meditations and contemplations and thinking on these points, of course, we are aware that on our crown is the Guru Maninda Vajradhara, we should be able to use the figure of the Buddha in the way to kind of supplement our meditation. And that here it's very important to make supplications to the Buddha in this way. We can recite the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha, Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha, Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha, and make supplications in that way, then to bring forth the kind of inspiration that we require, initially in the form of the colored nectar lights emanating from the figure on our crown with the white light predominant initially, and that's kind of streaming through our body-mind continuum and going through every pore and purifying us of all the obscurations and the negativities that are preventing us, for example, from realizing or gaining a realization that all sentient beings have been our mother, have acted in the role of mother for us, and that and then following that we can visualize the colored nectar lights with the kind of golden light predominant, and that's kind of endowing us with the potential to realize that directly, that all sentient beings have been our mother. And we can follow that then by making supplications again, reciting the mantra, and with the nectar light coming down again with the white, purifying all obscurations and negativities to our being able to realize the great kindness of the mother in all those times. They acted in the role like so intensely and so kindly to us. And that again with the following nectar light, descent of the nectar light with the golden light, really activating our potential to realize this as something which is really true and a permanent realization of the kindness of the mother, and following that, then to have this sense of that being fully charged and fully inspired by both those realizations, and to really feel how wonderful that is, how great that is.
마시 딘딘 다딘 가서 모두 딘디 야고저 삼로 마다나 딘시라 딘도 마다 어디 아메 랭게레 삼서 삼고다 들가서 삼로 두산을 따나 들어와대 파마 랭게레 삼서가 들었다 되는 말와 거저기 지 게임하게 왜나 소소 단다 하요 말와야 들어와 거저기 게 아마 게임하게 왜나 모두 단다 하요 말와 야 모두 삼서 어디 아마 랭게레 파마 랭게레 삼다 되는가 되거서는 the human good quality ke samotanta to mare human good quality sende yenjeng chana samotane be tinchi mor wasa de samotande kola to lengera pama lengera rete ina ngara to gona lenge kare samokara stan gore ti ya gechi morwa
And so that it's really important to recall this kindness constantly. Otherwise, that sense of appreciation won't arise in us for all mother sentient beings. And so it's important to counteract as well sometimes the idea that, oh well, it's my mother, it's her responsibility to do these things, it's her commitment to do these things, it's no big deal. And that we should really kind of overcome these kind of objections to understand that it may be a parent's responsibility to look after their own progeny, But it's a different matter if they don't take that responsibility. Then we're left with absolutely no chance. And so it's, maybe the mother's job to take commitment and responsibility to look after us. But what's our responsibility in response? And this is where the focus of our attention should be. That our job is to have an appreciation of good human quality. And that in this particular case, it's our job to fully appreciate the great kindness of the mother.
다 니데라 잠바데 닝제 시게데 다 추이 계자자마라 데가 세리바 수게 아니바 딱제 제원도 잠바데 닝제 야보 제바이나 아니 수부 대단한 팽게도 이몬 시스템 야제 두고도 수고도 와 라지 추고 열와 다데다 잠바데 닝제 계사게 다 고급되는 것을 배주 땅도나 캡사와
And that it's also important for us to bring in to our reasoning what science is even coming up with nowadays as well through scientific research. It is very clear that the generation of qualities like love, compassion and appreciation like this is not just good for our mental health, but it is very good for our physical health. It's said to be supportive of, for example, the immune system, etc., and has other benefits as well.
다 되게 근데 인자 디 팽거 도나다 먼저 고아야 되자 아니 디 야게 달라 삼목 촉 가반에 땅에 도나 다 땅에 계지 버려도 와.
And so it's very useful to use every kind of evidence that we can to support what will be able to allow us to more easily cultivate these minds and to be able to use everything at hand to bring that sense of understanding of a mother's kindness to the point of actual experience in ourselves.
다 이네 다 당보데 세디 마디 많이 받아 검거에 막 하고 그러다 이네 마디 딘체 뭐 임받아 삼당보다 세디 마디 딘체 뭐 임받자 마세 아니 마디 마 살직마도 맞아 말 장례 대바치 제뉴와지 아니 디세 단단하지 아니 딩이 장바지 말 디야 보지 시바이나 아니 되네 카프네 아니 심제 시발을 자두고 이나 거 연구를 왔던 세디 마디 딘체 뭐 임받지 마디 못쳐야다 못쳐고 다 그저리 이버려다 이나 마디 딘체 뭐 임받지 시바이나 아니 심제 시바도 마제뉴와래 아니 딘체 보려서 삼로다나 거 레라 연구도 와 세대 마디 딘체 뭐 마도나 되는 거 용해 그러고
And so see, even in this life, it's over and above really seeing, the obvious sense of our mother acting as the role of mother for us in this life, but to concentrate on the kindness that is involved in being a mother in this life. That's very, very important. And to see how kind our mother has been in this life, and then once we have that, to understand that this is not the case, even in the case of this mother, not just in this life, but she has acted in this role for us in countless times as well, and to really kind of up the kind of the tempo of that understanding, or the ante really of that understanding, to understand that we have been the beneficiary of such kindness over such a long time. And then we can shift the focus onto others as well, to say that this has been the case exactly in the case of all other sentient beings as well, that they have acted in the role of mother for us countless times and have been incredibly kind, more importantly, in that role.
진산에 진소고 공반에 집을 남아라 검시면은 대다산데 도마 매반에서 진기자be 만남 안에서 가서도 녀몽배 된지 셈투네서 셰발라사 라와마도 para 녀 뭐도 겔레게서 람 다에 미단테 기회신이제 롱티네 매 계지레레 니제게서 연주반에서 대차 질 코와다 개발 년도여서 직수로 양사 dimba dinam yawadona tel신도 중요해서 다제 딜렌도 코에 동엘레 때나 타베 때와라 고바 자오 대다 전에 발라만레 징글랍도 소아다.
So having contemplated on seeing all sentient beings as one's mother and remembering the kindness of the mother, we move to the third cause in the cause and effect instruction, and that is, of course, to repay that kindness. And here, again, we bring our minds to the fact that we have on our crown our Guru deity, and we engage in the reflection with that understanding, with that visualization, and that all of these mothers who have sustained us for countless lifetimes since beginning this time are tormented by the demon of the mental afflictions. They are confused by having no control over their minds, and as if crazed by that, that they have blind as to no knowledge of the path that they might take to higher rebirth or definite goodness of liberation and so on, because they also have no spiritual friend to guide them, that they are blinded by not being able to know what the path is, and that they are thereafter engaged in faulty negative behavior in every moment of their lives, and that they are like as if tottering, stumbling around on the cliff face of the cyclic existence, in particular the lower realms, and on the verge of complete disaster for themselves. And if we were to disregard them in this state, this would be something that was utterly inconsiderate and shameful. And so here our job is to repay their kindness. And how is it that we repay their kindness? We repay them by liberating them from that suffering of cyclic existence, and being able to place them in definite happiness. And we make this supplication to our Guru deity on our crown to please help us, please bless us to be able to make this so. And again, through this supplication, this again prompts the coloured nectar lights to descend from the Guru deity on our crown, pervading us, all our body and mind, and eradicating all obstacles like the negativities and obscurations to our being able to engage in this process of repaying the kindness, and really awakening our potential to really perfect this job of repaying the kindness of sentient beings. 이나 다대 야보다 시다르다 이나 파마 코랑게 몽바 마리베 샹마도 교수도 부고라 가야지 문에 전에 땡기 두마 때도 디기 뚝뚝에 가야지 두면도 안데 나스미에 미신들 라발테 샤샤닝체 And so that in context of the parents who really love their children, there's no doubt about that, wanting to benefit them, wanting to help them. But when those parents themselves have no knowledge of what are the true causes of happiness on the one hand, and the true causes of suffering on the other, then it's very unclear as to whether they are really being of best benefit to their children. And we can see in many cases that they can provide the food and the clothing and the education, and which is good, of course, but at the same time doing nothing to be able to help those children to create the causes of definite happiness in the future, but rather really exacerbating their suffering by, for example, taking them to the ocean, buying a rod and fishing, catching fish, and a parent and their child thinking that this is the best thing they can be doing with their child at the moment, showing them how to catch fish, and engaging in that, and that not unaware that they are creating a great deal of negativity by doing that action. So this is the kind of like the blindness with which that parents are often shackled with in raising their children like this, thinking they're doing the best for them, but in fact it's the very opposite. And so here it's we need to be able to understand, not just to provide the basics for a child's good upbringing, but also to try to establish them in creating the causes for a definite happiness.
Buddha Sanje Sungre, what the Beju Tamu, compared to Nunutan sometime. Catch Jumzen on the Getty Giant. What are the get at it?
And that when it comes to explaining things like this to one's and that to explain these kinds of things, it's really not it's far more beneficial to use valid reasoning to explain these, rather than say that this is simply something that the Buddha said, and that we should avoid that if possible, and to make sure that what's good reasoning for you as the parent is the same reasoning that you explain to the child, and that that's going to be the reasoning that they can accept as well. And it's the case too that especially nowadays in the modern world that children are very clued up. They have are very aware of their own intellect, and they will be able to accept this kind of reasoning. Let's leave it there for today. I'm not that well. So again, the point here is to really try to have one's mind completely permeated by these reflections on seeing all sentient beings as one's mother, remembering that kindness, wishing to repay that kindness, and so that it becomes part and parcel of our thinking. That therefore, when we on the one hand, maybe in our formal practice, have this aspiration, make these prayers to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. Now we have a real context for who all sentient beings are. They are everyone we come into contact with every day, every being that we see, and that we could, because we can put more kind of detail to this desire to benefit them. Why? Because they have all been acting as mother for me. They have been incredibly kind in those roles, and I need to repay that kindness. So it's very good to do that and try to really make that our kind of go-to way of thinking about sentient beings.
그래서 삼로데 심지어 수통화에네 삼로데 내부지 소통하나 무엇이 맛이 개침뭐 말해 뭐 맛이 개자 맛이네 되그래 이제 샘디 내부 소통했지 그 랑레 셴바 건가 셴베 샘제데 건가다 샘제 탐제 콘 수그로 와 랑레 셴바데 건가라 랑레 셴 랑다 셴스가 셴 샘제 어다 샘제 탐제서도 어다 되게 건가 어다 되게 건가 섬정 언제 되는지 로라 파 자모도는 샘제 탐제서도 셴바지라 삼로다 아니 랑이 틸라 유에데가 남주 통데 되게 아니 저 가서 견주 제사 소리지 그러와 어디 지지지를 뒤니니어서 직접 어디도 쳐요 말해서 인데 제사 소리 차 그러와 근데 심지어서 뭐 도와서 가서는 누가 시바치를 해야 되는 거 중수 삼에 되게 잘 도와 근데 심지어 담자서 뒤뒤에서 못 쳐봤잖아 어디 개침이 살아요.
And so this is all in the context of trying to develop a whole new sense of closeness to others, to all others, and that this is to really get a proper sense of when we say all sentient beings, and that it's often the case that when we use the term all sentient beings. We have this sort of notion of them being somewhere else, like living in another country, all sentient beings. And then the ones that we know, we get along, we associate with every day, they're the ones I have to criticize. And so we need to kind of somehow overcome that, to understand that they are part of all sentient beings, and all sentient beings are right here. Right now, and those who I associate with every day, and I must develop that sense of real sense of an investment in their well-being. I must have a sense of closeness with regard to them. It doesn't matter whether I know them or not. That's not the point. It's just that that's coming from my thinking. That's what I'm generating from my side. This sense of an absolute closeness, a very strong affection for all sentient beings.
다 샘제 담져서 나라원이네 파 인데 아니 비게 저기 단진 나온다 다 되네 바르 자스텐다 들어봐야지잖아 빅토리아 뉴 사우스 웨일즈 다 되네 인도네시아 다 되네 야파 타예바 샘제 강가 잡고 걸어다 되는 거 샘제 담져 랑이 틸려 주잖아 인데 스파도 왔지.
So as Genla is explaining there, it may be useful to start with that sort of ripple effect of thinking of considering, visualizing those who are close to us, those who we know close to us now, then all the residents of Narre Warren moving out towards different parts of Victoria, the state of Victoria, then out towards New South Wales, all of Australia, then going international, and indeed the entire world, and then the sense of all sentient beings have some sort of a more tangible context.
샘제 담져서도 더 괜찮은 차이도 샘제 담져서도 뒤로 말해.
So it is a kind of strange concept sometimes, isn't it? This sense of all sentient beings. It's hard to get a handle on it in your mind, is it?
나라도 패치하다 근데 맞아 로브리님 말 샘제 담져서 옷 내라고 요래. 틸에 그래서 또 가보도 와.
And even for the older student, the idea of all sentient beings may be even easier than it is to really consider those who are right close to us.
그래, 다들 이제 공부 잘해야 돼. 개처럼 있어야 돼. 봐, 잘줘도 강해. 무슨 강해도 세고 와 어디래. 그래, 다들 이제 답변제 저 랑이 닝가들 답변제 빼마다 잡지 삼도다. 아니 뒤에 님마다 다 다외 된체 어디래. 아니 다들 라마 가서도 샤자스 그때 라마 샤자스 그 집어는 젠다 받아서 라마를 다른 거 고소도 거서 젠다네 랑이 닝가 가도 내가 왜 가서 니 보고 소마 된주는 산제 고마도 보다 제 소소서 가고.
So then we visualize the 8-petaled upturned lotus on our heart center, on which sits a lotus sun and moon disk seat. And again, we are now inviting Guru Deity from our crown down to sit at that seat. And we recite the invocation prayer, O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus, moon and sun disk mandala seat at our heart. Keep me safe in your kindness, bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And with the first recitation, the figure on our crown moves down through our crown chakra, down through our central channel, and begins that journey. With the second recitation, arrives to sit at the prepared seat at our heart center. And with the third recitation, we feel that they are now steadfast there and will remain with us until we attain the state of enlightenment.
And because you bemadabjed Makazo Nabini Netanisha, and the Tudlan, Dojika was Zenga Chegachik, just capture sort of can't take a joke to the chip. And the net tagot and young say, Oma, you would really ama sauce, young said the court. The net cargans of the boy yellow shakas haja sauce, jiggy, because young gold park court. The net Oma Yeda, my head of Tadakata have with the Mashamana sauce, tending at the end, Yagol park court, what a not taking watching you attended or commercial.
So then the petals of the lotus fold over to enfold the figure of the Guru deity at our heart center, and it is as it were sealed at the very top where the top tips of the petals meet with a semi-vadra, and then it is also circled by the Sanskrit vowels going in a clockwise direction, the Sanskrit consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and the mantra of dependent origination again in a clockwise direction.
And then, because the Nalata, the Nandela, Lamashaja Singer, Lamtuanto Chan, shoot, Lamatuanto Chan, Kulu, Vesetan, and it's one can't take a paleta, and Lutamjana, very tough, so.
And then from within the lotus leaves, the light begins to emanate from the figure of the Guru deity, Guru Manindra Vajradhara, at our heart, and that permeates through the lotus petals, and indeed permeates through every single cell of our body-mind system.
Dana Lang Lugo and Nali Yigis Conasabi Tibata Tibata Machaso, Danje, and Lugu Göntaja Machaso, such and Luga Za Lung Tilelas with Gönta, and Jujuko Manova, Zalung Tile Gyonas, to get the Machane. And how don't Sicila Sanjay Kumato and Tameg Nashi and Sig the Gagu Yore. And then also Tameg Nashi Shujabuyosa, Tameg Nashi Göntajama, Java Chaso, Tamnava Chaso, Kanata Tawaranja Pashi Chatu, some the Kago.
And as a result of this light permeating, we have all of the obscurations and negativities of our body purified, that all of the faults or imbalance related to the channels, winds and drops within our body are purified and rectified, and that especially we have purified that the main cause for our being for our not being able to attain the state of enlightenment in one lifetime, namely viewing our reality with ordinary appearance, that is now purified, and that we can get to see all things with pure appearance, and we are absolutely delighted to be able to do this. And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, together with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And then through the combination of our own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And now our own body, speech and mind are indivisible from the enlightened body, speech and mind of a Buddha. And this place that we are in also transforms into the celestial palace of an enlightened being, a Buddha. And then viewing ourselves as a fully enlightened Buddha, we view lights emanating from our own heart center, equal in number to all the sentient beings in all the three realms of existence, and entering into the crowns of all the sentient beings there. They are purified of all negativities, and they arise immediately or spontaneously as Buddhas, so that their body, speech and mind also now is indivisible from the body, speech and mind of an enlightened being. And their places, wherever they are transformed into the enlightened Buddha realms. And that this transformation that has taken place, the agent engaged in that transformation, and the very act of transformation itself lack any objective existence and are merely imputed by thought. And this brings forth a sense of bliss, and that transforms into emptiness, and we abide in the non-dual bliss, wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. And even though this is at the level, or operating out the level of our imagination through a sense of aspirational faith, we make the powerful dedication that it may become manifest as quickly as possible. Do our Lam Rim prayer. On page 29. The Lam Rim dedication prayer. From my 2 collections, vastest space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings. With the points of the path as I have discerned them, may I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or what spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the 10-fold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.